Hi, I'm Ramon Vasquez, Executive Director of the American Indians in Texas, the Spanish Colonial Missions. The American Indians in Texas, the Spanish Colonial Missions is a nonprofit organization that works for the preservation and protection of the culture and traditions of the indigenous people who resided at the Spanish Colonial Missions. We were formed in 1994 by members of the Mission Indian community known as the Tepilam Coahuilteca Nation. Being the oldest and now the only organization to address the needs of the American Indian population of this area, we have quickly expanded our mission and now are committed to addressing the needs not only of the American Indians, but the diverse population of indigenous people residing in San Antonio. For the past 10 years, AIT has worked with national, state, and local organizations to promote public awareness and the contributions of the American Indians and other indigenous people in San Antonio. In 2001, AIT was awarded a $20,000 seed grant from the Tides Foundation in San Francisco, California. The funding was used to open up a storefront office and meeting space in San Antonio's near west side. Within 5 years, the operations of the organization outgrew its first home, and AIT now occupies 2 separate locations. Our program areas are youth development, family strengthening, arts and culture, and more recently, health and wellness. At the centerpiece of AIT's vision is a nationally recognized American Indian Wellness Center here in San Antonio. We've put together a few videos that we feel showcase the work that AIT has done over the past 10 years. We really hope you enjoy. Thank you.
The American Indians in Texas at the Spanish Colonial Missions was founded in 1994 by 5 tribal families of Mission Indian communities. In 1998, I was appointed executive director. We started with a small little $20,000 grant and opened up a little storefront office because there wasn't too many people working specifically with Latino males and indigenous males in the Southwest. We began to get requests from not just here in San Antonio, but from Weslaco, Texas, from Houston, Corpus, and also on a national level to go speak about some of the work that we were doing and the importance of it. A lot of the ills that affect our community that are at the hands of men is usually because they've been victimized at some point by a man, more than likely a man that looked like us. So it's going to take men that look like us to stop and say, this doesn't have to continue. It doesn't have to be this way.
Everything that you guys thought over here, positive. Everything that we saw over here, we saw it somewhat in the negative. Same 2 words. They mean the same thing.
They're going to the core. They're going to our history. They're going back to our traditions. They're going back to indigenous values. They're about going deep into the issue and not just treating it in a superficial manner.
It's holistic. It looks at a person inside and outside. It respects the person. It begins with dignity. They're not just an organization. They are leaders in that realm of providing services to our city.
My dad, he was incarcerated for a good while. My brothers were all incarcerated. None of my family members ever graduated from high school. And I just wanted to be the one.
They're changing young men and challenging young men to value the family, to value safety, to value security, to value lifelong learning, to value children, to see the role of fatherhood as critical to the well-being and growth and development of our children. They're doing the counseling and the therapy that our families so need, to heal. And it's very important work.
This organization builds leaders. all the staff. You know, we're on a mission to build leaders for the future. Our scorecard or our report card is not going to come in anytime soon. You know, it's going to be, you know, a couple years from now, a few years from now, when we see the children as adults that we've worked with over the years, and we see how they're living their lives and the work that they're doing with their children. I feel confident that the work that we're doing definitely begins to lay the foundation for stronger communities.
We are the sons of the sun, daughters de la luna madre herself, conceived under a turquoise blue indio sky, sent forth through a cosmic explosion.
Born to bronze-skinned mothers and fathers, to thundering voices, voces de tambores tocando, ancient drum beats harmonizing with reed flutes, flautas sagradas que hablan con Dios.
Hi, my name is Jesse Borrego, and thank you for attending this Aitscm screening of the two films, The Last Conquistador and Follow Me Home.
overwhelming number of child abuse deaths in Texas last year. 11 of those happened in Bexar County alone, and now 3 more in the last 2 months. Oftentimes, the baby's father or a mother's boyfriend are arrested for the crimes, but there is a little-known program which works to help young fathers become a parent instead of an abuser.
And all they want is you. They just want to be with you.
Martin Corona didn't always know that.
What made me snap was is that I was incarcerated for a good while.
He was in prison for dealing drugs.
And when I came out, that's when I had my youngest child, which was Manuel. And I just thought to myself, it's not a game no more, you know what I mean?
Now, the father of 2, Corona decided he wanted to finish high school and be a part of his son's lives.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
So he comes here regularly with a classroom full of fathers as young as 15 years old.
Oh, man.
This may seem like a silly experiment.
Now you put yourself in your little baby's world.
But it's helping these dads bond with their babies. The lesson in this fatherhood campaign group is about understanding why kids don't always do what a parent expects. How do you get them to come to the class? What is the incentive for them?
When they first start out in this class, their expectation is really, what am I going to get out of this class? What am I going to learn?
The incentives later become things like the camaraderie and parenting stories they share. The teens take ownership of the class, and the instructor makes one promise.
That you will have a better understanding of what it is to be a dad, the difficulties and the joys.
The students are so motivated by what they're learning in the Fatherhood Campaign program that they become recruiters themselves and go out looking for other teen fathers here at their charter school to try to get them to join them.
They'll tell them, hey, you're going to be a dad? I'm in this dad's group. You might want to come to this dad's group.
They say one dad who turned down their request to join them was this teenaged father, William Esparza, who attended their charter high school. Last October, he was arrested and charged in the death of his baby, Javier.
A lot of guys took it pretty hard. A lot of guys felt it wasn't right. They felt no baby should ever have gone through that.
That's why they share their knowledge with the community whenever they can, because ultimately they want to be a role model, not just for their own children, but for other fathers in the community.
It takes a lot of courage and guts to be a father. And they talk about being the leader for them, you know what I'm saying, and being the protector, provider, and they talk about being a hombre, which is a man.
For more on teen parenting programs, log on to mysa.com, keyword WebLink.
This is Fox News at 9.
So who takes care of the kids in your house? For years, moms have been viewed as the caretakers and dads as the providers.
Yeah, but nowadays there are many young fathers who care for small kids and not a lot of places for them to turn for help. The San Antonio Fatherhood Campaign says young dads need someone to turn to for guidance. Meet one young father who learned that the hard way. This 4-year-old boy is the victim of abuse. Hospital workers called CPS after he showed up in the ER with a sprained wrist.
How did I let that happen? How did I lose control of the situation?
This is the boy's stepdad. We'll call him Paul to protect his identity. The 24-year-old was watching the boy and 6-month-old twins when the 4-year-old started acting up. When talking didn't work, Paul says he pulled out a belt.
As discipline, I spanked him, and which became excessive, and it was unintentional, but nevertheless, because of other things that were going on, I realized that the stress that was in me was taken out on him.
The boy had welts on his body. Police charged Paul with injury to a child.
I've since then paid for it, every day, dearly. I haven't been able to be with the kids. I haven't been able to be with their mom. I haven't been able to be with my family. And that's her.
Unfortunately, cases like Paul's are all too common in Bexar County. Employees of Child Protective Services see hundreds of child abuse cases per day. Of course, there are success stories, young men who seek help learning how to become responsible fathers. Philip Casillas and Vicente Escobedo found guidance through the San Antonio Fatherhood Campaign.
It was just the crying, the late nights, the diaper changing, taking turns, basically everything a dad does for his family. It was really hard because I was a young kid. I wasn't used to that responsibility.
The campaign hopes to bring back the role of father.
It's not talked about as a noble position anymore. It's not, the fathers aren't seen as, that teacher, that leader, but rather more of a provider.
Dads sit together in a room where they are all seen as equals, learning that they're not alone in their struggles to raise a child.
Mostly self-discipline amongst being a father, and with situations that I think that are too hard, that I just want to tell my mama to get her and just, let me have a relaxed time. I found out after a while, there ain't no relaxed time. You're a parent.
Now these teens want to reach out to other men overwhelmed with fatherhood. It's help Paul wishes he would have received before he lost control.
Had I been aware of those programs before, had I been aware of the things that were available to me to help me in my parenting, none of this would have happened. Put your family first and realize that you humbling yourself to go ask another for help will help you with your family. And that's what's most important.
Paul is working to get his family back together and hopes to do so soon. Records show in 2006, CPS investigated some 43,000 cases involving children here in San Antonio alone. If you'd like more information on the San Antonio Fatherhood Campaign, give them a call at 210-227-3463.